Hey hens, how we all tiddly doing? How's everybody holding up? I'll tell you how we're holding up a lot better than Agnes Crumplebottom is, my darling. I mean, she's iconic. She's been through the ringer, babe. She has had a half-finished nursery, husband's died, didn't get the chance to have a baby with anyone, and she turned into a bitter old woman. And she's iconic, and she rides that bitterness train. I don't know what I say half the time, so sometimes I'm shocked at the stuff that comes out of my mouth. I didn't even have this planned to intro, but you know what? I can't talk about Roberto Crinkletop without speaking about Agnes Crumplebottom. I do have an entire history of Agnes Crumplebottom already, where I go into the honestly the really sad life she pulls on my heartstrings of Agnes Crumplebottom. But today's video is about Roberto Crinkletop, the bastard that he is. She is everything. And he's just Ken. Sorry that this video took me a while to get out. Usually I'm really, when an expansion pack comes out, I'm really like bam, 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 bam with content. But the mix of TwitchCon Paris, meeting up with friends, which is a huge thing for me to do because, you know, I am the way I am. And then also a new expansion pack coming out. All of that just kind of culminated into just a smidge of autistic burnout for me. So I'm trying to keep it slow and steady so I can actually like keep going rather than just blam, 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 blam. I'm trying to be consistent, darling. I'm trying to be consistent. So sorry that this has took a while to come out. No, I love being autistic, but in here, torture. Maybe the true Roberto Crinkletop was the mental illnesses we got along the way. Anyway, speaking of the devil, Roberto Crinkletop, who is he? Who is that man? Where did you find her? Within the scope of The Sims 4, he's an elder pre-made townie joining the game in the newest expansion, which is Horse Ranch, as we know. He is kind of the person who you could want to talk to if you want to learn more about nectar making. My favourite hobby in The Sims. Love nectar making. And I've always loved nectar making. I have not. Fucking hate wine, but we know this. I just feel like every time I bring up nectar, I have to make the point of how much I hate wine. Like, that we already know, Jessica. Fucking move on. Build a bridge. Pull Roberto Crinkletop. Anyway, he's friends with a few of the townies at the start of the game, and he's also bisexual slave. He also boasts skills in charisma, horse riding, and nectar making, all three of which check out, honestly, when it comes to his history. But who is he really? Who is he behind the horse? Who is he under the nectar? Who is he sober? And to answer this question, we have to jump deep into the lore of the Sims franchise and step into a potential past full of fake deaths, ruined marriages, and throttling purses. She came bounding over. So Robert Crinkletop is actually Robert Crumplebottom. So let's go back and let's talk about Robert Crumplebottom to understand the man, the myth, the legend. He was a philanthropist and puppeteer. I don't really know what a philanthropist is. In my experience, philanthropist is just kind of a rich person job, especially tied with puppeteer. He sounds like the perfect candidate for grand design. Yeah, I'm Robert Crumplebottom. I'm a philanthropist and a puppeteer, and I have a $10 million budget to build this house. That's how it tends to go. My favourite thing about Robert Crumplebottom is not his careers. It's not anything he's achieved. It is purely his wife, Agnes Crumplebottom, because Robert Crumplebottom was the first husband of Agnes Crumplebottom. I wonder then if he took her name or she took his. However, if I got married, which I don't think I ever will get married, because like realistically, like sometimes I would like to find a person to settle down with. I would like someone to look after me, but they're just not going to be Mr. Darcy. Like, that is what I'm looking for, and it's impossible to meet that standard because everybody who could potentially have been Mr. Darcy is dead. So, but yeah, my favourite thing about him is his wife, Agnes Crumplebottom. Like I said, I do already have an entire history of, if you do want to delve deeper into the purse. And The Sims 3 confirms that Agnes had another husband as well, Eric Darling. Eric drowned on the honeymoon. It was all terribly tragic. Once is a mistake, twice is a pattern, Agnes. Like, kind of looking at you, do you know what I mean? Get a little bit suspicious. The olive spectre of it all, if you will. It would have had an impact on anybody. Never mind Agnes, right? Sweet, sensitive soul, our Agnes. Absolutely heart of gold, or used to have a heart of gold. And it made her incredibly just distraught and bitter. And this turned her into the iconic handbag beating crone of our youth. A win is a win, you know? And who wouldn't hit publicly affectionate teenagers with a purse if both their husbands died unexpectedly? One time I kissed my boyfriend when I was like 13 in front of a monument, and I still cringe about that to this day. Why in front of a monument? Anyway, I relate to Agnes. I am Agnes. But Robert also wasn't spared from this horrific end. He didn't necessarily die on their honeymoon, do you know what I mean? But prior to this, Robert actually had a demise of his own. God bless Agnes. And his untimely demise came from the form of a very theatrical recreation of the famous chandelier scene from Phantom of the Opera. Not really, but he did get crushed by one during his annual winter charity event. In The Sims Hot Date, this is going way back in like the 2000s, early 2000s, so Y2K of the Sims franchise. Players can visit Crumplebottom's memorial park built in his memory, and players can also make hot dogs and take Sims out on cute dates. So it breaks your heart, it really does. If I died, do you know, and I saw that my wife had went the extra mile of making an entire park in my honor, I would be so moved. I would feel like my honor had been served. I'm sure his ghost would have loved that. Unfortunately, there was no ghost at all because Roberto Crinkletop is actually Robert Crumplebottom and he faked his own death. He has not perished. That man did nothing of the sort. To which point, enter Roberto Crinkletop, the backstabbing bastard that you are. So now we're up to current day Roberto, and honestly, as far as aliases go, adding an O to the end of your first name and using synonyms for your last name has to go at the very bottom of the list of how to fake your own death and get away with it. So what has the man been up to all these years? Apparently finding out the secret to eternal life in the form of alcohol, though for game rating it's nectar, because if it was wine, you know I wouldn't take part in that, because why? What does this girl hate? Wine. Remember when The Sims had hen do's? Remember when you could grow weed in The Sims 2 Discover University? Remember when your Sims could dance on tabletops? I miss it. What a time to be alive. You kids can take your nectar, but you can strip my marijuana growing department from my cold dead hands. But yeah, he has found out the secret to eternal life, and it's not just leaving your wife. It actually, like I said, comes through the form of nectar, and your Sim can also learn this. There's the vitality nectar in The Sims 4 Horse Ranch, and you learn this by talking to Roberto, and it cuts back the days until your Sims ages, and it can also bring a dead Sim back to life, which is it's just a double homicide. You know what I mean? Like he not only faked his death and made his wife a widow, and then his wife got made a widow the second time, but in faking his death, he also found out how to make an elixir to bring people back to life, and he already faked his death from his wife, so he couldn't tell his wife, oh, look, I know you moved on, I know you were happy, and I know that your husband died again, I know, but I'm still secret, I'm just being so secretive. Like, he could have just gave her the recipe for it, do you know what I mean? Who deserves a happy ending? Agnes Crumplebottom, or at least Grim Reaper, do you know what I mean? When he went to collect Eric Dahl, and he could have went like, Agnes, girl to girl, you know, like Agnes, girl to girl, I'd want to be told if it was me, you know. He's found out how to bring people back from the dead. Like, Grim should have done that. He should have took the lead in that. Also, this entire thing is no longer even a theory. Like, it's kind of something that we already knew, but the Sims team actually took to TikTok. Potentially Instagram, maybe even YouTube, potentially Twitter. I don't use Twitter anymore, so I don't know. But I saw it on TikTok, confirming. I'll put the TikTok over now. I might have to narrate it for you.
Are you ready?
Agnes Crumplebottom lost her love.
Yes, she did, ma'am.
But Roberto said I'm old enough. I need to turn back time. Don't come to me with your little crying. I'm turning back time, and I'm leaving you behind in the dust.
Clip clop, clip clop.
I'll kill myself if I must. I made that up on the spot, and that was my backing track to that TikTok. You are so welcome. I love rhyming on the spot. Genuinely enjoy pushing myself to rhyme on the spot. I just love it. Like, try it. It's fun. My dad also has been trying to get into a video lately. Just not been the right time. Do you know what I mean? But I said that, I told him basically the story that Agnes's husband faked his own death, and he's put his own theory in it. So, Dad Bella's deductions.
When she was older, she only wanted one thing, and that was it, to be a loving family and have a child, and that was the only thing she was concerned about. It didn't even matter who the husband was. She just wanted a child, to give that child all the love in the world she could give him. So when she got married to her first husband, is that him who's got the horse?
Yeah.
The horse thing. When she got married to him, and she, before they even got like furniture, front room and everything else sorted out, she got the nursery done, ready for this baby. So it was just a plan for their life. So they were sat without a television and everything else, but they had a cot upstairs, a mobile over the cot and everything else. Then she couldn't have a baby. and she just couldn't. She tried and tried and tried. She couldn't have it. She just kept getting more and more depressed and dark. Right, and she didn't have like a black dog over it. She had a black horse over it because that's how bad it was. So I tied that in with him, see having a horse. Right. Right. So then she started arguing, fighting with him. Right, and he was trying to make things better and trying to get a treatment, trying to get everything else for her. She couldn't see nothing after that. So she just started being bitter and horrible to everything, but she couldn't let the nature go.
Aww.
Good thing.
That's horrifically sad.
So yeah, it's unknown basically why or how. We know the means, but we don't really understand why or how Roberto managed to fake his death, apart from my dad's deductions on it, which take with a pinch of salt. That man is A, known to make a mountain out of a molehill. B, will never let the truth get in the way of a good story, but I kind of believe him. But let me just say one thing is for sure on Roberto Crinkletop. I don't trust that man at all. He's somewhat difficult to find in the world, honestly, and he's unmarriable because who would want to? He will buy nectar at a high price, but in the same breath, I don't trust him. I just get bad vibes from the whole thing. But you know what, mate? You know one thing about me? I wear rose-colored glasses, babe, so I could be flirted by him yet. Thank you all very, very much for watching this video. It's a bit of a shorter one, but honestly, I just love doing entire history episodes as well. I just, it's my bread and butter, you know what I mean? Half a law, love it, love out like that, really, really do. I've been a bit unhinged today because I've been a pre-mark. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I also finished The Witcher, like main story game, so I haven't started season 3 yet though, because I don't want to say goodbye. I need to get back to streaming so I can just like talk this at you instead of you having to sit at the end of a video or watch it. Anyway, that is everything I have for you today. I love you all so, so much. Thank you, Brittany, for helping me with the script. You are an angel. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, bitch.